am good. How are you?
Good. We just got done finishing our podcast, so I'm like all sorts of like behind on life.
Okay. Yeah, I get you're
That's
doing a
my
pod.
norm.
Okay. Hey, that's fine. Well, tell us about Secretary of State first. Tell us about that.
I would love nothing more than to bring boring back to Indiana's Secretary of State office because I think it's a little too exciting right now. Um, Primarily, we are like 50 out of 51 for voter turnout. And I think that it's unacceptable. There are millions of dollars in budget that could be used to increase voter turnout and free social media. So I would love to increase that and put us in the top 25%, at least for red states, if not the entire country. I guess I should probably talk about what the Secretary of State does, huh?
Yeah.
They oversee elections and voter registration, all that fun stuff. They also oversee securities, notaries public, kind of random, and the NBiz website, which unless you've started, well, I don't know. Do you have an LLC for like your stuff that you like your shirts and stuff?
I had one for speech therapy stuff a few
So
years
you kind
ago.
of then you've been to the NBiz website. That's where you go to that. So that's to get licensing. They do something with trademarks, I believe, for car dealerships. That one I'm a little fuzzy on. I have a lot to learn. But the biggest job is overseeing the elections. And we know Diego Morales, our current Secretary of State, purged right before the election last year 585,000 voters. He didn't give 585,000 voters who he thought needed to be purged the last 3 years of his term the opportunity to update their registration. He just got rid of them. And we lost AG, governor, and U.S. Senate by about 500,000 votes. Likely all Democrats who were purged. So I would love to see a better voter turnout and just better information. We don't get anything, to my knowledge, from the Secretary of State's office on who's on our ballot, what their platforms are. There's no requirements for that. And I think that is something the Secretary of State could be working with the county clerks to make sure that happens, because we all know Republicans are really terrible about telling us what their actual goals are for their offices.
Yeah, so that kind of goes into it. So tell me a little bit why you're interested in this position specifically.
Well, I think voter turnout by and large is marketing. And a lot of that marketing is social media, and I literally do that for a living. I'm an esthetician and massage therapist by trade, so I actually make money by working on people, but I have to market myself. I have an MBA which focused on conscious capitalism, which most capitalists, like big corporations, are more concerned with their shareholders and their investors. Whereas conscious capitalism, yeah, we care about our shareholders, but we also care about our stakeholders, the community that we're in, the environment, the schools, the hospital, like, treating the surroundings of the business and the people within the business as people who matter because we do. So I really want to try in any way possible to influence how businesses interact with the communities and treat their communities, because we are also in Indiana, like down there at the bottom for environmental and health and quality of life, and businesses, I think, can turn a lot of that around.
Oh, yeah, of course. I totally agree. Okay, so you kind of already told us a little bit about your day job, but tell me what makes you different. I know that it sounds like there are multiple people running for this.
Likely. No one else has confirmed.
Okay.
I am being told by many people that even people within my county party and leadership in the 6th congressional district think I will lose. And I'm the only one who's decided to announce that I'm running. So it sounds like, and this is rumor, it sounds like the state party and the powers that be within the leadership in the party have already decided I am not worthy.
Even though they don't have another candidate?
No.
Okay.
There's been speculation of one for several years, and I think that's by design, and that's fine. I did not know. I didn't know that there was a seemingly chosen person for this when I decided to do this. But I also think it's okay because from where I sit, it is more likely that I am very much more progressive and louder than the other two potential candidates. And I think that this will be very telling how our state party will go in the future. And for anyone who's watching, hi, Ryan and Hunter. Oh, Hoosier Blues on here. He's a celebrity. We will have a state convention next year, likely in June or July, where each county gets to send delegates to, as well as their leadership. So like Johnson County last year, we got, I think, 36 delegates. So those delegates can go and they will get to vote for Secretary of State, State Auditor, and Treasurer, who will be on the ballot in November. So it's kind of a primary, but I'm only marketing to Democrats right now, which seems like it should be easy. Right? But you know, Democrats in Indiana are pretty
Rocco. Sorry.
We're a special breed. We like our purity tests.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, if I am this is again speculation in my opinion. I have not spoken to the other two potential candidates or anyone else. I think if I can secure the nomination, I think in the long run we are going to have a more active and more progressive and assertive Democratic Party here in the state. And if not, I don't know how much hope I really have for the longevity of our party.
Yeah, I think that's probably is what makes you different is that you're more progressive than other Democrats that have been on the ballot before. Okay, so you need people to sign up to be delegates, basically.
Yes.
And you need to call them.
Oh, yes, I will. So right now I started this today, which is really nerve-wracking. Thank you, Denise. I'm working on calling all of the county chairs or emailing them. I don't have phone numbers for everyone. Just to introduce myself and try to get to the county parties. I've got Owen County, the Washington Township Democratic Club, Putnam County. I'm working with Davies County to get down there in October. I feel like there might be another one I've already got a date with. I can't remember. And if I'm forgetting and you're listening, I'm very sorry. I'm going off my calendar from memory is not easy. So really just trying to tell them, like, this is who I am. This is what I think we can do with the Secretary of State's office. I think politics right now everything is so upside down and backwards that we as Democrats need to come with something radically different than we've ever done. Not status quo, not like, let's be centrist and let's try to win over everyone. No. If you do not think everybody has the right to live and to be safe and to be housed and to vote and to have health care and education, we will likely never agree on anything.
Yeah.
So.
No, I don't disagree. I think
that human rights are debatable.
Yeah. It's like, I'm sorry, you don't get to decide who's worthy of food and shelter. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can't play it safe anymore. And I've said this for several years. Like, we need the MAGA energy, the Republican energy is so loud and aggressive, and we need to be able to meet that, but with nonviolence and logic.
Yeah.
And like we have a backbone.
Yes, I agree. I think that coming at it with pure confusion with some of the stuff they say is the best way to disarm them, because I'm like, I've never heard of that. But this is what I know to be true. Here's some resources. Have a nice day. You know,
you are much nicer than I am. I kind of gave up on the logic. It's always anyone who is still supporting this, like, I don't understand it. And I say this, knowing that my mother supports this. So it's weird, man. It's weird.
It's cognitive dissonance for sure.
It has to be. We are literally, even some Democrats. There is a local Democrat who does not like my use of language on social media and thinks I'm representing the party poorly. And that's the biggest concern. Not that people are being stolen and put in concentration camps, probably in our backyard in Camp Atterbury someday soon, or that millions of people just lost their insurance. Name a thing. Like,
I mean, they should at least care that their insurance is going to be more expensive. I think, I don't know. I don't know how else to get people to care. And that leads me to my next question is, how do we get people to care?
I have no clue.
How
I
do
truly don't.
Because like, and I'm thinking about it with the elections too, like, we do have the worst turnout except for like one other state.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably Texas is worse than us because they're
I think it's actually West Virginia
really
or something like that, maybe
that's
somebody
surprising.
can actually look it up for me. I forget who it is, but yeah, and I was just like, so what do you have a plan? So it sounds like you are going out and talking to the Democratic counties. Do you have other plans to work on voter turnout if you do secure the nomination?
Well, that's an excellent question after the nomination. I can't even like wrap my head around that right now. Yes. And I think that will have to be, one of my things on my to-do list is to see like what are some of the top podcasts in the state of Indiana, because I will have to be on podcasts with people who don't lean left. And I don't know. One of the conversations I want to have with the county parties, and so my campaign, obviously I want the nomination, but I also want to get with these county parties and start getting the county parties and even the clubs communicating or at least following each other on social media. Why there's not a master list of all of the Democratic influencers and county parties and clubs for all of us to just go and follow is completely beyond me, because it seems like that would be a really good way for us to start working together, or at the very least be in each other's algorithms, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird. And if I'm remembering correctly, Karen Tallien, our party chair, recently said that there was a county in Indiana voting on whether or not to start a Facebook page for their county.
A Facebook page?
A Facebook page. It's 2025, and they have not solidified that they should probably have a Facebook page. That is what we are talking about in Indiana. Like, that is how disconnected our party is, not just to one another, but to like the world.
Yeah, I am just
crazy. So that is part of my platform is like, okay, please start following other counties. Please start following the state party. Please get a social media account for your party.
Yeah, I know that our club doesn't have one, and I'm just kind of like, guys, come on.
I mean, it is hard, and it's maintenance, it's work. I get it.
Well, we have a Facebook one, just not TikTok. Sorry, I was just.
Well, I mean, it may not be worth getting a TikTok one if the rumors are true that TikTok is going away. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. The TikTok scare. Same shit, different day. Who knows what's going to happen with it?
Operating as if it is going away, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So I think that's one way we can help increase at least liberal voter turnout is just having more presence on social media for people to see that like we are there. Because if your county has a Facebook page and everyone in the county party who's active is following it, that automatically pops up like, Blythe is following Delaware County. So Democrats, would you like to follow them? Like, it'll suggest them, right? It'll make these recommendations. It will start going out to our networks.
Oh, thanks, B.
Yeah, that is wild.
Oh, I did want to bring up, somebody said about the data centers. Have you heard much about the data
A
center?
little bit. I was in Monrovia last week. Senator Roderick Bray, he's my senator. He's also the Senate pro tem in Indiana, state senator. They were talking about it. Apparently, and this is, I'm going off memory here, there are non-disclosure agreements signed so that they can't talk about it. The attorneys won't talk to the other attorneys for the cities about it. Sounds like it's happening whether we like it or not. Our tax dollars are going to help pay for it, and then we're going to actually be paying for the services of the data centers. And also, there's a lot of noise pollution with it.
Oh, great. I didn't know that
Yeah.
one. So, like, my understanding is these data centers are just like battery warehouses that they store electricity during cheaper times. Like, I don't know. And it sounds like it doesn't make sense, but like the issue is there's also a risk that this is going to increase all of the electricity costs for people.
I mean, I'm sure it will. There is nothing cheap about living in Indiana, and I love it when people be like, "This cost of living is low." Senator Bray, it might be low for you, but not all of us can just like spend $150,000 to our local party like you can, sir. Like these people have no idea how like the majority of Indiana lives. And I know I'm saying that as a middle class white woman. I mean, I may not even be considered middle class anymore. I always feel so broke. Like,
There's
everything is so expensive. But like they just passed law that we are going to have to start paying for small nuclear reactors to be built. And for those of us like we do have solar panels on our house, like there's no return on investment on that. So the infrastructure for solar panels are there, but we want nothing to do with it. We want nuclear and coal.
Yes, we want to go backwards, and that's not helpful.
Indiana, like all we do is backwards. And I don't, just the general status quo of everything has to stop, in my opinion, on both sides of the aisle.
Meta
River storage that uses a ton of electricity and water. I did forget about the water. Meta
Uh-huh.
won't be paying taxes for 35. It's shocking.
Yeah, that is so stupid. Like, why are we just giving away so much tax dollars? Like, I'm like, where it's like,
They're
here's where the
wealthy.
money for the roads are. We don't need to be doing all this stupid toll road stuff. How about we just tax freaking Meta? If they can't pay their taxes, they don't have a good business model.
Yeah.
End of story.
Yeah. We love to give tax breaks on corporations to come here and destroy our environment more. And I don't know how that became acceptable. And well, it's good marketing, right? It's marketing from the Republicans. They've had the investors. They've been telling us for years our votes don't matter. They've been telling us for years we're a Republican state. We're a Republican state. We need to save taxes for the wealthy so that they can offer jobs. No,
Trickle
no,
down. Nope. Trickle down economics does not work.
it
It
doesn't
doesn't
work.
work.
It doesn't work, and it never will.
It's never going to work because the problem is that when the top 1% hoards their money and then uses it in very specific things and industries such as yachts. And it's like, that's not going to put money back into the community.
No.
That's not creating jobs. That is buying luxury items for yourself and does absolutely nothing except maybe make another billionaire rich. Like, it's
Yeah.
pointless.
It's so crazy, and I just can't even imagine that kind of money. The amount of things I feel like they could save and fix in this world and still have money left over. Like, why aren't any of these men, mostly men, right? Why aren't they being like, all right, we're going to save the world right now?
They could. They could.
They could. They totally could.
You know who else could? Taylor Swift, but she doesn't.
You're right. Taylor.
That's probably one of my most controversial opinions.
Well, I mean, I know. And you hear all these great things like she pays her people well. Okay, good.
What is
Do you
she?
need 5 houses?
Yeah, I mean, I am just saying that all billionaires are unethical.
Yeah. It's insane. It's getting into the philosophy and the history of our political system is like, it's insane. And the things that people like our neighbors and families support is like so hypocritical. It hurts my
Well,
soul.
they're just not going to get it. And that's the sad thing. It's like I see people, I've seen creators on here who are taking videos of people from the Texas flood who have also done like really horrible things and like being like, these are the two. It's like, how do we get them to care before something horrible happens? And I'm like, I don't know that you can sometimes because it's just like when something that horrible happens to you, you usually reevaluate your entire life.
Sometimes that does involve a paradigm shift. That's another thing I want to talk to the county parties about. Like, and I think this is something the Secretary of State could do, is talk to the members in the community. What's the best way to get information? Do you want a postcard? Do you want an email? Do you want a billboard? Like, how can we get these rural communities voting and engaged, and get them information about all of the things, right? Colorado has a blue book. It's mostly for referendums, but everybody gets it before elections to like outline exactly what it spells out everything that's in what they're voting on. And it just shows up like it's part of their voting system.
Yeah.
Why can't we have that?
Because they don't want us to be educated voters. Because if we are educated voters, we're not going to be voting Republican.
Yeah.
And that is the end story. And that's the end of the story. So it's like, I think the biggest fight in Indiana, and I think this is what the party really should be focusing on, is how do we get people engaged?
Yeah.
How do we get people out and voting? Because I think if we do that, then that changes the political landscape easily. But that's not what they're focused on. They're focused on keeping the status quo, and that's not working.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand that it's like they want to put up that person, and we don't want to have like people like, I know somebody's running against Andre Carson, for example, but I'm like, shouldn't you want competition? Shouldn't you want the best person to have the job? Like, this is the part that I don't understand. It's like, why are we saying, no, you shouldn't run, when I want who's best for that position? If that's not you, okay, that's okay. But I just don't understand why we're doing it this way. I'm just flabbergasted. Sorry.
But I mean, to your point, once people have a say in what's happening or some sort of power or leadership role, whatever you want to call it, they don't like to let go. And we are not a society that is taught succession. We are taught, nope, you make it to the top and you stay there. No, you can work your way up, but you are only as strong as your weakest link. The person who has the people who ask me 6 months after an election how the election is or when it is, they're the ones who need to be reached. And that shows weakness in our state and our education. It's so many things. And I don't want to sit in a spot forever. Like, nobody should want to have the same position forever. For what? Why would you want to do that? That doesn't show growth. So everyone, I think, needs to have term limits. I think we need to get rid of the Electoral College, which, of course, the Secretary of State's office has no bearing on. But I do think if we can start getting progressive Democrats on ballots, get them elected, we can work towards that.
Oh, yeah. I really do. Yeah, I do. I agree with you. I think that people think that when we are progressives, because I'm considered progressive as well. Mm-hmm. So they think that we're going to be like, oh, right from the gate, we're going to go from where we are now to super left. I'm like, that is not how that works ever.
No, ever. There's always going to be resistance.
Yeah, it's like there's always going to be compromise. And that's why it's like when I come up with things that I like put out a video about stuff that I think, like the controversial video where it's like that I think that big corporations should have to pay back the money that their employees full-time employees are using through government assistance programs, mm-hmm. because we shouldn't have to foot the bill for corporations not paying their taxes or not paying their workers enough money.
Absolutely. Walmart, they're notorious for that.
Yeah, exactly. Walmart and I think Amazon too at this point.
Oh, wouldn't surprise me. And yes, I believe we need term limits for all elected and appointed positions. No judge should ever just get to sit their asses. Sorry, they know should never get to sit their butts
Yeah.
forever. It's atrocious, and I do not like to call this silver lining because I see no silver lining about what's happening, and I know it will get worse. But I am hoping that it's starting to get bad enough for enough people that they start to realize that having the system that we have now is really bad. It is bad for us as individuals. It is bad for our family. It's bad for our neighbors. It's bad for our children. It's bad for our future. It's actually bad for the world if you want to look at this as a global society, which we are. Um,
Are you sure? I thought we lived in a bubble.
you know, but I think that only changes if we get more people to vote and better educated voters. And we know for a fact that people tend to do that. And I don't understand why people think the word progressive is bad. Because if you think about it, anyone who is listening right now is likely on a phone that fits in their pocket. We were told growing up you would never have a calculator with you all the time. For hell, we do. We've got a phone. We have running water. We have toilets that flush. People who were alive 100 years ago would probably think that's pretty fucking progressive.
Mhm.
Like, we evolve our technology, our cars, our equipment at home, our vacuum cleaners, but we don't want to evolve our voting
Politics.
systems and our politics and our schools. What?
Yeah, and I'm gonna put this out here because I think that the Democratic Party needs to change this because I was a delegate and last year and that system is awful. Why can we not use a QR code? It would be so much faster. You would have the results immediately for voting and people wouldn't leave because they didn't know that they couldn't.
It was atrocious.
It was so bad.
It was so bad.
It was so bad. And I'm just like, it is not hard. We can do a QR code, do the vote that way. It would put it on the projection and we wouldn't have to wait for 3 hours.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's like
But
they
I,
always
I don't disagree. I'm not the most well-loved person in the state party, so I definitely won't be able to change that next year, but maybe in the future.
I'm just saying, just so you know, it's like I'm just going to keep saying it until somebody makes it better because it makes people not want to do it again because it's exhausting. It's a long day.
It was so long. It was so long, and I was a delegate for nationals, so we had to stay even longer. I mean, it was a mess. I don't actually know. I mean, I assume that's probably in some bylaws somewhere, like that they have to do it a certain way. I don't know.
Bylaws can be changed.
Probably not before next summer, but who knows?
Who knows?
Maybe.
I'm just saying. So, let's see. What else do you want to talk to us about?
I want to hear what people want to say. I want to hear what people think. Like, what do you think, anyone who's listening? How do you think we engage voters, right? Like, I know I'm the candidate, and if I win the nomination and the seat, I would be the Secretary of State. But I also don't think politicians should be doing this like just on their own. I don't have eyes and ears everywhere in the state. And I certainly don't have experience with everywhere in the state. So how do we get more voter information out? Like knowing that the algorithms are working against us, right? Like, and not everyone's on social media. Clearly, not even all the parties are on social media. So what is the best way? Is it an ad in the newspaper? Is it a blue book? Like how are we connecting people? And for people who don't vote or won't vote or have never voted, why? Like, what could we maybe do to change your mind? Like, how do we reach these people? Because it's really all just communication and figuring out what strategies work for people. And what do you want to see happen? Other people are NBiz users. What would make it easier? I'm not the only one who uses these things. So I think we forget Flyers on telephone poles. Yes. They are good questions for NDEMs.
Like the blue book idea.
But coming from me, I don't think it'll be well received. So if you have a good relationship with the state party, I think you should ask them these questions. The party could and should. That's definitely would be a lot of money. I say that for Secretary of State's office because they have a budget. The only thing I don't like about the books is it's more paper and it's more waste and it's more everything. So I do want to think about the environmental impact of these things. I think that's up to the county clerk what they do in each county at high schools.
And that might be changing with the new laws passed.
Eric, message me or email me. Let's have a conversation. It looks like you're running for Congress in the second district. Am I reading that right? It can be very challenging. Yeah, that could be interesting. I'll have to have a body cam on for that one, Ryan. I think the state party is working on in the next month or two voter registration drives. I know there are a lot of PACs and 501c3s and maybe 4s that are working on that. Don't quote me on that. I have voted in every election since I turned 18. And I will tell you, there are definitely times, and I'm 43, so they're like, we haven't always had machines. There were definitely times I'm like, oh, that person's name sounds cool. I'm going to vote for them. I was one of those people, but no one taught me where to find this stuff, right? So like, how do we get people engaged?
So maybe somebody said that their teacher made a big deal about it. Maybe we do need to be talking, like, especially Secretary of State could talk to like the administrators about making a bigger issue of this in government class.
It is easier for elected officials. If we ended up still with a Republican supermajority, that might still be hard. I know a lot of government teachers or anyone that teaches anything about the Constitution have to be very careful right now, which is astonishing. It is a rite of passage, and it should be. And I think voting is a human right. I think food and education and housing are human rights, and they should not be a liberal thing.
Too, but
why is that a political thing, and why don't we identify human rights as their own thing and not like a side?
Because it has been politicized by the right, because that is how they have gained control over the last 40 years.
Yep. Did you hear that Diego is now, interestingly, the same number, 585,000 people have been identified from the voter rolls and will be receiving cards to verify their citizenship to be able to vote. An immigrant man running our Secretary of State's office is seeking out other immigrants to potentially.
I hate that law. If anyone doesn't know, essentially a law was passed this year that if for whatever reason your county thinks that you may not be a citizen and you are registered to vote, so I'm going to guess people like Brianna Newhart and Blythe Potter are not going to be questioned.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be people like Diego Morales, and they can send you something in the mail that says you must come and prove your identity within so many days or you are unregistered to vote. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that they will also, since, Indiana has been ordered to cooperate with ICE, I'm assuming that those are also somewhat of sting operations.
Yeah. That was my first thought too. And you're right, Ryan. We are very divided as a party.
Well, yeah.
We love to have that purity test, and what's the quote? If you agree with 9 out of 12 things, vote for me. If you agree with 12 out of 12 things that I believe in, see a psychiatrist. We're not all going to agree on everything, but I think we can all agree that we need to get the F out of whatever we're in now. But yeah, it seemed like a trap to me too when I read that. I was like, are we baiting people? Is this like the new version of immigration court? Like, prove your citizenship so you can vote. Bye.
I think
I would totally be on a polygraph. That would be fun.
But okay, you've said that you love the purity test, and I think I know what you mean, but I want to make sure that I understand what you're talking about.
Like, it seems like Democrats, well, people in general with politicians love to be like, oh, well, she's divorced. She has tattoos. Oh, she has
Uh,
too many piercings. Like, you have to pass the purity test to be an acceptable candidate worthy of a vote. Here's a newsflash in case anyone is worried. None of this is going to make any decisions about your future. Neither will my piercings. Neither will the word F if I drop that word, which, believe it or
that's
not,
what President did on
contrary to popular
national
belief, I do try
television.
not to curse. I'm just this passionate about saving something, the world.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I'm working to save right now. It's just all really bad.
it is all really bad, and I feel like it
So
should
bad.
be
So
bad.
bad. Yeah.
Everything's on fire, everything's a problem, and then the thing that is just astonishing, it's like, okay, well, this horrible thing in Texas happened.
Oh my God.
After we laid off 600 people, they said that they had adequate staffing. I'm not sure what that means. Then they're saying that they did have enough weather balloons, but then other times they said they didn't. And I'm like, so which is it here? It's like, were you or weren't you? And then somebody's like, well, there's bad cell service in that area anyway. And I said, so why wasn't there a siren warning system? Oh, well, the last time this happened, they looked into it, but decided against it because it'd be like 40 grand.
Yeah, Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, single-handedly defunded the Weather Service in the big, beautiful bill by about $152 million. He put that provision in there and then went to Greece. We love you too. No, it doesn't have to be like this. And I think that's the problem. Like, logic is getting lost in this. Like, we're all so hell bent on winning and being right or elected that, like, we have forgotten the service part of the public service. Like, this should not be a money making scheme. This is not an MLM, dear Republicans. I know you like to treat it like that, but this is not an MLM. This is not a multi level marketing. This is people's lives. This is their freedoms. It's their rights. Literally at this point, they are deciding whether we live or die. And I think they're trying to make sure more of us don't live. I really, ooh, that was fun. Where'd that come from?
Somebody gave it to you. I'm like, cool, they're giving it to your campaign.
Must have been sod. I've said this a few times, but the big G word that's happening in Palestine. Like, when do we start calling what's happening here that?
Oh, I'm already calling it
I am
that.
too. Like, we do not know the number of people who have lost their lives in these facilities, or now the floods and fires. Like, we know some people have died, but we're not accounting for the unhoused population. And now we are intentionally taking away healthcare and food, primarily from children and elderly people.
I am so scared for my grandmother. One of my grandmothers was just put in a nursing home because she has dementia. And I'm like, holy, yeah, I'm just like, I don't even know. Like, it's scary.
It is scary. My father-in-law died in April, and he was in and out of nursing homes maybe the last 2 years of his life. And my sister-in-law did most of the heavy lifting, trying to get him on Medicaid. The hoops that had to be jumped through for a man who could not feed himself, could not walk, and could not use the bathroom were astonishing. Astonishing. And while they had, nice to see you too, Saad. While the people who work at these facilities, the nursing homes, are excellent human beings, they are underpaid, they are understaffed, they are overworked, and there's never enough rooms. You literally have to wait for someone to die to put your family members somewhere. And now we have the ag secretary saying, if you want Medicaid, you're going to have to go work the fields for 80 hours a month because we lost the immigrants.
My grandmother who has dementia is not going to do that. She doesn't even know who I am.
Right? That's what I mean. Like, have these people never experienced the sandwich generation or having a disabled child or
They're
a
rich enough,
severely...
they don't care.
They
They're rich
don't
enough.
care. That is exactly it. They do not care. They don't care.
And it's wrong. I'm
It is so
sorry.
wrong.
It is, it's just like, I don't get it. Like as a speech therapist, I used to work in nursing homes, so I'm very familiar with Medicaid and how you literally do have to wait for someone to pass away to get a Medicaid bed.
Yeah.
It is a thing, and it's gonna get way worse with this new budget bill. Like
Yeah.
it is gonna be disastrous, and I'm like, it's like honestly, it would be better if a big virus wiped out a bunch of that population. I mean, and it's just kind of like you want to. It's like I don't even know. It's like was this COVID's plan the whole time? I don't know.
It is, you do have to wonder. I mean, looking at the way that they went this time with the CDC and vaccines and Trump, he was in office in 2020 and up through the beginning part of January 2021. So he had a solid year to destroy a lot of that.
Yeah.
The Democrats are still being blamed for that, which is weird.
And I'm just like, he was in office. He ignored the pandemic protocol that was just because the Obama administration set it forth.
Yep.
And if he had followed it, we would have had a bunch of lives that didn't need to be lost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing happening with the weather service. It's needless deaths that are caused by Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how can you be supportive of this person? Like, I have family members who are still Trump supporters, despite the fact that my first husband died from COVID.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, it is. It's so crazy. My mother, like the woman who literally gave me life. And I still can't wrap my head around this because, well, pretty much anybody I would do just about anything for, but certainly my children. And I mean, begged, cried, screamed, pleaded, cited sources, sent links from news sources that weren't CNN, like all the things. All three of her children are veterans. Like, yeah. Can we make this make sense here? Like, and I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one.
Oh, yeah. Well, my mom, apparently told one of my cousins that she voted for Trump, but she didn't know why. And I was like, she said, what? And this does not surprise me because it's very much, well, I don't like to talk about politics. It's a very much I put my head in the sand thing. And I'm pretty sure we're just listening to what our husband tells us to do.
That's Hoosier hospitality for you. And it's got to go. It's got to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. We need to flip the script on them. But I still don't know how.
Well, it's just like
we've been trying for 10 years.
No, it's like we've been trying, and it's like I keep seeing good videos, and I'm like, are they not seeing these videos? Because this guy's like, well, the liberals are trying to take away all their rights, and it's like, well, when is the last time that liberals or Democrats made a law that took away your rights? And he's like, well, the Second Amendment. It's like, no, we never said that. We just think that guns should be regulated. We never said that we want them taken away.
Yeah.
So
we just don't want them to be able to gun down firefighters while they're trying to do their jobs.
Or police officers, or it's like, I'm sorry, if you really back the blue, you should listen to them when they say that we need regulations on assault rifles.
Yeah. No, we just made it all easier. So cool. Cool.
It is so awesome.
Oh my God.
So do you know about allegedly Diego Morales going to Hungary?
I did hear about that. And I don't know what the latest is on that. So apparently his wife is Hungarian. I think that's what I've heard. Um,
Sounds like they need to send her a card in the mail.
it sounded like he was trying to represent himself not as the Secretary of State of Indiana. Like it sounded like he was trying to like I believe the accusations were trying to bring business here, and that's like not really it's not really part of the job. Um
That
yeah.
seems
Hungary,
for that.
India. There are a couple countries. It's very suspicious.
Why?
I don't know.
Why are we
I
paying
don't
for this?
know.
That's not in the job description. So why are we paying? And that's the thing that just drives me crazy. It's like they want to pretend they're the party of financial responsibility, but then they do stuff like this. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with being the Secretary of State.
Not certainly not in Indiana. And I believe his claim was that the taxpayer dollars weren't paying for that. But I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I just don't.
On a car. No thing. No.
It's
like,
so crazy. If he gets the nomination again for the Republicans, I mean,
they are just they are if they give him the nomination again, they are literally just testing how uneducated and how unaware their voter populace is.
well, but right now I think his only opponent, well, to my knowledge, his only opponent is Jamie Ridenauer. I think she ran for a state house office. She's like Moms for Liberty.
Ugh.
So not much better. But honestly, at this point, how do we have a viable Republican option? To my knowledge, most of these people voted for Trump and Braun and
They all
Beckman.
seem to be celebrating it, all of the stuff happening.
And it's all so messed up. It is so messed up. So I don't know. I don't even know how you. I don't know. I have a lot of questions.
But anybody in the comments, does anyone have questions for Blythe as we're wrapping up in the next 10 minutes? So if you have questions, make sure to put them in the comments. I also wanted to mention, if you are not following Blythe on both Instagram and TikTok, you should.
Yes.
You should also follow her political accounts. It's the SOS Indiana. Is that the full name of it?
Yep. I'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, definitely follow her on TikTok with that one as well. She also, her campaign website is SOS Indiana as well, but you can also find it in her bio at the top of her page.
I need money. Share my pages if you can. Interact with them. That helps a lot. If you can next year be a state delegate, that won't really be a big topic of conversation until January when you can fill out what's called a CAN 37. You'll do it at your county clerk's office.
It's not hard. I've done it.
It's very easy. If there are more than your county's allotted, Monica, if there are more than your county's allotted number of people, then technically you will be on the ballot as a delegate. In most cases, we don't really get to our full number. But you do need to have voted in the last 2 Democratic primaries and pulled Democratic ballots to be a state delegate. And I will need votes. But more than anything right now, money. If you want to host a fundraiser, if you want to donate to my campaign, this is going to stay grassroots, people powered. I have 3 people, but 2 organizations for communications and like digital stuff that I would really love to hire, which is about $7,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's insane. It is insane. It's insane the amount of money that is needed to make a dent. And my opponents will have a lot more money than me.
Yeah. Yeah, they will. And
They will have a lot more money than me. So
if you can donate to her campaign, remember $5 even makes a difference.
Yep,
You
it
know,
goes a long way.
Yep. Everybody, even if it's just a couple dollars, buy her a cup of coffee, something like that. But if you can't, share her pages, share the links, send them to other people, comment a bunch of words, like it, whatever.
Yeah, and give me your ideas. Like if you're in one of the counties that has a rural population, how can I help you on my platform? what ideas will help me reach not only voters as a candidate, but also hopefully one day as the Secretary of State, because that's our biggest challenge in Indiana is voter outreach and voter registration. And I firmly believe if we increase voter turnout in the state, it will benefit all of us, not just in Indiana, but also beyond.
Absolutely.
So, and we have so many changes that need to be made, and it won't be something I can do, but progressive Democrats will be able to do that. And I think Indiana is going to show up next year. I really do.
So, we have a question. It says, "What's your first priorities when you become elected as Secretary of State of Indiana?"
Increasing voter turnout, Sod. I want to get into every single county clerk's office and talk to them. How do we reach your constituents? How do we share information? What's the best way to share who's on people's ballots and what their platforms are? Every candidate in the state needs to have a platform. Even if it's a third finger emoji saying, I'm not giving you a platform, that can be your platform. I want to get into the schools. I want kids to be registered to vote. I see no reason why we are inhibiting anybody from registering to vote, keeping their voter registration, and making it to the polls. That is my top priority. Also, and like, I think this office needs to be a little bit more boring and have a little better ethical backbone. There were a lot of elections last year that did not have the oversight that needed to happen. It was a shit show. So
I've heard stories.
yeah, it's bad. And I'm not faulting any one person. I'm not even necessarily faulting Diego Morales because clearly this is the status quo for our state that needs to change. So that's my top priority. But I also, voting is a civic duty. You don't get to bitch about your politicians if you're not going to vote for them.
Vote in every election, people.
No, every single election, especially the midterms. Another way, hi, Vincent. Another way you can help is start marking your calendars. May 5th and November 3rd next year are election days. Ask off for work right now. I don't care if I'm on your ballot or not. Take off work, go to the polls. And bring friends, have these hard conversations. Don't do the Hoosier hospitality bullshit where we don't talk politics and money. We need you to talk. This is a crisis.
Yeah, for sure. We need to get people to the polls. You can vote early.
Hi, Erin. Yes, we need people to vote. And I'm assuming we will still have elections next year.
Oh, how do we hold the county chairs accountable and let us use mobilize?
Nettie, I mean, that's a good question. However, send me an email. We might be able to go around the county chairs a little bit. I'm not undermining county chairs. 5051 and Indivisible both have access to Mobilize in some capacity. So I think it would be good to maybe reach out to their admin if you have an event that you want on Mobilize. Trial by combat. Tips on explain why MAGA is bad.
It's a cult.
It's a cult and they don't like you. They don't like themselves. They don't like anybody.
They're just angry and they don't make sense. They'll say things that are just crazy, and it's just like, why MAGA is bad. It's like they'll come up to you and tell you that their, kids are dressing up as cats and peeing in kitty litter boxes in schools. And I'm like, where did you see that? Oh, on Facebook? No. Where did you see that at a legitimate source?
Hey, when do we start the class action lawsuit against Donald Trump and Fox News for like the absolute destruction that they have done to our communities and our families? I mean, for real. The lies and the destruction are just, it's insane. County fairs are massive. And that would be a really good idea. And I do know that historically Democrats have not had good luck. So Democrats get trolled pretty hard at county fairs usually. So that is something we do need to change. I think we need to play on it. I think our Democratic parties need to go to these fairs and have like Dunk a Democrat fundraisers. Give me $1. Try to dunk me in that like, why not?
Or like pie a Democrat in the face or something. Yep. Come on, that's great.
Why not?
I would make totally so much money and we could sell our shirts.
Yeah. Oh my God. So anyone who wants to do that, we'll do a joint fundraiser for the county hosting and my campaign. We'll split it 50-50.
I mean, we could do it at the state fair. I don't live far from the state
Oh
fair.
my God. Can we make that happen in like 2 weeks? Because it's coming up, right? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know
August.
how realistic this is.
Okay, so maybe next year we start planning for this.
Yeah, right.
Well, and that's right. And they have taken over our fairs. In recent history in Johnson County, Republicans would like put people's numbers on Democrat lists for being volunteers, and then we would get yelled at for it. Like they were just being jerks. So yeah, we need to take it back. But we would need to, showing up at these county parades and fairs in mass, right? Not just having 2 Democrats at a booth. We would need 20. We need people to show up. And sometimes we need to get our youth involved. Dunk tanks.
Yes, yes. But any last minute questions for Blythe?
No, follow along. If you happen to be one of the higher ups rooting against me in the state, just give me a chance. Let's have a conversation. Listen to what I have to say. I have some ideas that I think could be viable. So we got to change some things. So
Yeah, and if you don't follow her, please do interact with her content. Tell her what you want to see from the Secretary of State. Tell her what would get you out and to vote. That would be helpful.
Yeah.
And if you are also running for office and you're a Democrat, you can always contact me if you want to do a live and get out and so people can see who you are as well. Blythe, thank you so much for meeting.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you. It's good to see you.
I hope you have a great night, and everybody else, I hope you all stay cool and safe out there.
Yes. Bye. Thanks, Ryan.